Hi, my name is Beth Tuminello, Mrs. T Chem Talk Teacher Tech, and this video is going to help you with getting started for Bitmoji Classroom. Please like and subscribe. You'll see more videos on my channel in this specific playlist called Teacher Tech that will help you use technology for teaching either remotely or in the classroom. So what we're going to do when we first get started is we're going to try to find Google Slides. And when we do that, we're going to open a new slide presentation. So if you are not familiar with this, you are just going to go right into Google and you can actually Google Slides. And when you Google Slides, you can find the landing page for Google Slides. And if you already have an account, you're just going to go to Google Slides and you're just going to make sure that you are signed in to the correct Google account. For me, I need to be signed into my school Google account if I want to make a Bitmoji classroom that's going to link up to my school account for those purposes. And once I'm in that account, I am going to get started with a new presentation. And when you go to a new presentation, you'll wind up with a picture like this blank slide. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get rid of the text boxes. And when I get rid of those text boxes, I can highlight them and just hit delete, and that will get me rid of those text boxes. Cut. And then that will get rid of those. The next thing I want to do, once those two text boxes are cut out of the page, is go to Slide, and I'm going to try to add a background. So Slide, change background, choose image, and I'm going to search from the web. I'm going to do a Google image search. When I do a Google image search, I'm going to put in floor wall background. And I like to pick one with a lot of wall and not a lot of floor. If you want to put in a lot of desks, you do want to make sure that you have enough floor space. I happen to like this peach one. I don't like the color peach, but I'm going to apply it to my slide. And then I can go ahead and I can make this peach wall a different color and make the floor smaller by inserting a shape. I'm going to pick a rectangle. And when I pick a rectangle, I am going to just go from the corner where I want to start down to the other corner. And when I do that, that's going to give me a white rectangle. I can then go to the fill bucket. I'm going to pick a custom color. I really like blues and turquoises, so I would like to make a nice bluish, turquoise-ish wall. So I'm going to pick the color that I want and hit OK. Then I'm going to quickly just go and make sure that I don't see any of that peach wall behind it. I can look in my presentation mode, and you notice on the left there that the peach is kind of showing. So I press escape, and I'm just going to drag my rectangle to fill that whole space. It's okay if it overlaps a little bit, because when I hit presentation or present, anything that's outside the slide won't show. I can hit escape again to get back to edit. So once I have my floor and my walls, the next thing that I'm going to want to do is insert some furniture. I'm going to go to images and I'm going to search the web. And I want to make sure that I use the word transparent with my image search. So you may have some images that you have saved on your computer, then you can hit upload from computer, but otherwise you're just going to use Google Images. So the first thing I want to do is a desk, I'm going to put with a transparent background. This particular desk right here is a popular one that shows up in a lot of Bitmoji classrooms, but I would like to pick a different one. I think I'm going to pick a forward-facing desk this time. So I can just drag it over. I like to double click because there's so much space outside of the desk, and I'm going to drag those black lines closer to the desk so that there is less blank space around it that gets selected when I select the desk. This is a little piece that I found helpful because you're going to have so many different images on your screen that you've added. This helps you not drag the wrong image. Drag the corner in to resize and make it the size that you want it. And then the next thing that you can do is that you can also right click to tap or click on arrange, and I am going to rotate this by flipping it horizontally so that I can put this desk on the other side of my page. Once I do that, I want to drag it forward a little bit to make sure that both legs, the front legs and the back legs, look like they are on the floor. And I'm going to search for some other images. So when I go to search for some other images, the next thing I'd like to add, again, if you don't have a right click, yes, you can just click on order to do this if you can't right click or if you can't two-finger tap. So the next thing that I'd like to do is add a whiteboard. My classroom has a big whiteboard with a smart board and 2 whiteboards, but I'm just going to do a whiteboard. So let me just pick this one and drag it over, corner, resize, and make it the size that you want it. I like a big board space so that I can share a lot of information. I teach high school, so having a big board space on my Bitmoji classroom is helpful. So you can drag it, you can move it, you can drag the corners to make it bigger or smaller. So, I'm finding out that it's in front of my desk and I want my desk to be behind it. So we're going to the same place where we did the right click and did the rotate. Once this is in the position I want it, I can go also to the word order, and I want to send the whiteboard backwards. That's going to put it behind my desk. Or I alternately could have tapped on arrange order and I could have sent it backwards there. I don't want to send it all the way to the back because that'll put it behind my blue background. So the next thing I might want to look for, perhaps I want to add some student desks into my scene. And if I want to add some student desks, ooh, I like this one with the full board also. So I'm actually going to put this one into my scene and get rid of the whiteboard that's already there. And instead of dragging this time, I just tapped on it to use it. So I'm just going to move it out of the way to get rid of the whiteboard I had there. I'm going to slide this into the position where I want it. So now I don't even think I want my teacher desk. So what I'd like to do is just make sure that this is exactly where I want it and that it's set in the place where I want it. I can always order by moving things forward or backwards if something sits in front or behind something it's not supposed to. So I'm also going to search for more images here because this is my Bitmoji classroom isn't quite finished. And the next thing, because I'm a chemistry teacher, is that I want to look for a periodic table. I didn't use the word transparent. I don't use transparent when I'm looking for posters and things like that. So again, drag the corners, resize, play around with the position. And seeing, after I do that, I also really like the idea of growth mindset. And in my classroom, if I want this digital classroom to link my students to their in-class classroom, I do have a lot of growth mindset items on the walls. So if I put a little growth mindset poster in here, that will be something that can help my students feel as though there is a link between this classroom online and my real classroom at school. So realizing, oh, I'm selecting things that I don't mean to be selecting. Let me just move this back over where it goes. If this ever happens, you can just sort of slide things out of the way and reorder things the way that you want them. So I'm looking at this poster and it looks like a poster that I like. And so I'm just going to rearrange my background the way that it's supposed to be, get everything back to where I wanted it. So now again, select, make sure you're only selecting the item that you're trying to resize. Drag the corners to make it fit and move it to where you want it to be. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to move it where I want it, maybe center my board a little bit better. And there we go. And now when I look at this, I'm thinking that maybe I want a plant. So if I want a plant, I am going to, again, type in plant. This time I'm going to type in transparent background again. Pick a plant, drag it over, pull down the corners, double click to make the edges closer so that it makes it easier to move and resize. Oops, did that wrong there. You can always click undo if you do something wrong. Now I'm going to click out of that box so that I can resize. And I think I want my plant over here behind this student desk, but it's in front of the student desk. So I can either double tap, right click, or click on arrange at the top of the screen. And what I want to do is order. And I want to send the plant backwards. And it might take a few times because it's sending it behind different layers. Remember, the posters are different layers also. So you just want to keep sending it backward until it's in the right spot. Or what I also did was I just clicked on the desk board picture and sent it forward. So also one of the other things that I like to have in my classroom would be some books possibly. And if I want to put some books in there, I'm going to again pull the corners to resize, and I can move these around, and I think I'm going to try to put them on the shelf here. Now, as a general rule, pictures that you take in later will be in front of other pictures. So if you just do it from back to front with your pictures, that should help you. So next is going to be adding me, my Bitmoji. So hopefully you already have the Bitmoji extension for Chrome. If you don't, there are many videos and tutorials on how to get that. But I'm going to click on my Bitmoji icon here for Chrome. And go to pose. And when I go to pose, I get a whole bunch. I just realized that didn't show up on the screen. But when you click on pose as a search, you get all different poses without words. And you can, again, move the black lines, double click and move the black lines to get the Bitmoji box around it smaller, and then move you to the place where you might want to be. Don't really like the way these books look. Might take those out in a little bit, but you also might want to add a text box to your board. And if you add a text box onto Bye Books, if you add a text box onto the board, any of the fonts that you have in Google Docs will show up here. So although we can't really easily add fonts into Google Slides, you can add fonts extensions into Google Docs. And then once you use them in Google Docs, if you copy and paste it into Google Slides, next time that font will show up in Google Slides. I like to use the handwriting ones to write something on the board. There's a bunch of different ones that look like handwriting. And what I plan to do is take this board and write different things on it each time. So I will edit the text box each time. Now, some people always ask about how can you make it so that the things don't move. What I would do is download it as a PDF. And if you download this as a PDF without the text box on your board, you can then use this as a background in a future presentation. And by doing that, you would have everything set in place. So again, hopefully this helped. This was Mrs. T, Chem Talk Teacher Tech. Please like and subscribe. And if you look at my channel, I do have other videos for Teacher Tech. Hopefully this was helpful. Good luck.